Hey, what's up, RTJs? You know what time it is. Your boy Jeffrey L. Boney here for another edition of Real Talk Junkies Live right here on the Forward Times Facebook and Instagram pages. Make sure you share the link. Make sure you let everybody know what time it is. We're live right now. Going to have a great conversation as we always do because we're going to have some hot topics. Talk about current events today. Got a couple of great guests, man, that we'll get into it, man, that my social media friends, and definitely I follow them on social media. We're going to get into some great dialogue, but want to also always encourage everybody to visit forwardtimes.com. Again, that's www.forwardtimes.com. Check out the latest news from the Forward Times, as well as you can always engage with me personally, jeffreylboney.com. And of course, you know that book is about to drop soon. Don't argue with me, so stay tuned for that. All right, y'all, let's jump right into it. There are a lot of things going on in America right now. And with the advent of social media, young African Americans are becoming more and more aware of what these things are than ever before. Prior to social media, many of our Black youth were not as engaged in possibly reading publications, watching news outlets, listening to talk radio, or keeping up with major current events involving politics, particularly in government and other social issues. Social media has given Black youth the opportunity to get this information in real time in a way that is interactive and enlightening. They got this thing called Black Twitter that be lighting up everything. But anyway, however, it's been a blessing and a curse for some of us. Many Black youth have had their eyes opened up to the real life issues that impact them on a daily basis and are becoming more engaged in and educated about those issues. We talked last week about some of the issues involving Black youth and crime and things of that nature. But I thought this would be a great conversation to have today about Black youth and how we as Black adults need to close the gap, bridge the gap between Black youth and ourselves, because we dropped the ball in a major way. We'll get into that a little later. But anyway, as America finds itself in the midst of a contentious political climate and a raging COVID-19 pandemic, many of our Black youth are finding themselves confused about the state of this country and looking for leadership from adults to help them understand it better. Couple that with the uncertainty that many Black youth have about their own safety and future possibilities, considering the number of Black people who've been killed by police, the challenges of chasing after a quality education, the conversations around the Black Lives Matter movement, the unfairness of the criminal justice system, and the limited number of opportunities available to them from a job market standpoint. You can see how many Black youth have found themselves searching for answers and looking for quality leadership to help them navigate through these tumultuous waters called life here in America. Take a look at what has happened to Sha'Carri Richardson and Simone Biles, for instance, leading up to the Olympics and during the Olympics, and how they were both treated. You can see why there's such a disconnect with Black youth and adults. Joining me today to talk about this and other current events are two of my favorite social media folks, like I mentioned, that I look forward to hearing from regularly on social media, LaRonda Helen Thomas, better known as Lady L, and Mr. Lewis Hunter. This is sure to be a great conversation today, y'all, and I want everybody to share this live, like I said, and I want all of our viewers to chime in on the chat. Welcome to Real Talk Junkies, y'all. How y'all doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Hey.
All right, so let's get right into it, y'all. So I mentioned a couple of people, and I'll start with them, and then we'll jump into some other stuff. But I mentioned Sha'Carri Richardson. So I know that for those of that have been following the situation, she's not participating currently in our Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan. And the primary reason is because she was banned, or she was removed from the team because she decided to smoke some marijuana, and she gave her reasons as to why she chose to do so. She chose to do so because she said she had just lost her mother, and she was just dealing with the pressures of life. Now, you look at the fact that here in America, there's this strong conversation about legalizing marijuana. Some states actually have marijuana legalized. She made a decision. She's not the only young person or old person that has smoked weed or does smoke weed.
Right.
So first of all, let's start with you, Lewis. I know you had a pretty strong take on this here on social media about not only what happened, but also the after effects of what happened and the response to it. What are your thoughts on how she was handled? Should she have been kicked off the team, or is this something that we should just accept from our young people that are dealing with issues like she was dealing with?
let me preface it by saying that there's nothing that I'm about to say that's going to be elegant. All right. I think that we've kind of tactfully kind of missed the point in all of this. We're talking about a young lady who failed in the end. She failed to meet her standard, her goal. She got to the end and dropped the ball. And I think that particularly as a Black community, we need to be able to call young people out like that. Now, that doesn't define her. That doesn't make her a bad person. But what it does serve is as a lesson to our younger people that there's certain things that you can't do. There's certain standards that you have to keep up with. We cannot continue to focus and accommodate failure to the extent where we embrace everything under this Black moniker. I raise Black children. I get it. Our kids are going to make mistakes, and you call them out when they make those mistakes. But to try to placate and kind of take away from the significance of what she's done, she's wasted a lot of time, and it'll be 4 years before she has an opportunity to show what she truly has. I support her. I wanted her to race. I look forward to seeing her. As far as whether or not, how she dealt with her mother's death, and I don't know much about the young lady's situation, but I do know that her mother, and this comes from social media, all right? So I don't know how true this is, but her mother had substance abuse issues. She was raised by her grandmother, and that doesn't take away from how sad it is to lose a loved one. But to suggest that somehow she started smoking marijuana the day she found out her mother passed, I'm no fool, and I don't think anyone else is either. That's
hold on, Lady L, you chime in on that.
I am a Sha'Carri fan now, simply because I did not know her. I'm a track and field fan, but I did not know her. So I'm a bandwagon fan, simply because, number one, we have to understand we have a generational gap here, especially when it comes to marijuana. She did it in a legal state, for one. And number two, marijuana, it really should be legal, and there should be some standards in the Olympics when it comes to it. And so by her taking a higher stance, to me, admitting it that, hey, I made a mistake, but still acknowledging that I emotionally, I wasn't healthy at the time, and for these particular reasons, I give her a lot of respect for that. 21 years old, there's some people that's twice her age that can't even do that. They cannot say, hey, I made a mistake, and I'm going to accept what you give to me. And not only that, but here's the reason for her to understand and know. Look, teenagers, young adults, 20-somethings, they are different than us, y'all. They grew up in social media. They grew up with Instagrams, with pages. They grew up pretty lonely with their cell phones. They're their parents' ages. You see, she's being raised by her grandmother. I don't know her parents, ages, but a lot of times they're very close in age. So to say, hey, they need to listen to us because we're in our 50s and we've made those mistakes. This generation, they're just not going to do that. And we've seen that with Simone. We've seen that with all of the other high-profile young athletes. They're just different. And I think
if I can interject, there's a difference between, I agree. I think that marijuana should be legal. That's what I believe. But she has known for many years that it's not. I think that hunger should not exist. But I can't run into HEB, steal something off the shelf, get arrested, and then say, hey, this should be legal. That's a fight prior to pissing positive on a urinalysis. She knew it was going to happen.
But you know what? Let's talk about the double standards that exist in this country, though. And let's talk about the Olympics, for instance. There's a white athlete right now that's competing competed in the Olympic that's up facing sexual allegation charges. And they, matter of fact, his own teammates, he's what they call it, foil with the fencing. He's on the fencing team, and they were wearing pink masks to show their disdain with him being on the team and protest. And the U.S. Olympic team allowed him to continue while facing these allegations, which are way more damning than smoking a joint. Yet they kicked her off the team, and she had an opportunity, actually, if she was she suspended for the length of time to be on the relay team. And they said, no, we're not going to even put you on the relay team. She would have faced her time of being suspended for what I think it was 10 days. But they still said, because of what you did by smoking a joint, we're not going to even allow you to participate in that aspect of the Olympics. I think it's a double standard and it's wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask y'all this. What about the person, and I just saw this, so I don't know the name, the person who said that they failed a drug test in the Olympics, but they're allowing them to be in the Olympics because she pled her case and said it was in her hair because her boyfriend had did the particular drug. Did y'all see that?
You know, I haven't seen that, but you know, if that's the case, you know, and again, if Sha'Carri would have said that, then I probably would have a seed of support for Sha'Carri. You know, and to address the first issue, if you've got someone that is charged with a crime, until they're found guilty, I get it. I don't want us to be charged and judged by the media either. So yeah, absolutely. You know, if that athlete has been charged but has not been found guilty yet, they're just allegations that, you know, they have not gone to trial, then I can see the argument why that person should be given an opportunity to participate. Now, as far as Sha'Carri getting disqualified, you know, let me kind of preface. Okay, the fact that to support the fact that I said that, hey, this is not a Black Lives issue matter. This has nothing to do with the Black community. In order for Sha'Carri to race in the 4x100, 3 other Black young ladies would have to step to the side. You know, and these are 3, one of them's an Olympian, that would have to kind of, the ones that did everything right, 3 young Black women who did everything right, who caused no controversy, who played by the rules, one of them would have to step aside in order for Sha'Carri to take their place. As a coach, if I were a coach and I have notified my team that, hey, you 6 ladies or however many it is, I'm going with you ladies. You are the young ladies that I'm going to go with. And then a Sha'Carri Richardson comes up available. I'm not going to cut someone that I've already notified who has done everything, who's been vetted and earned a spot on that team.
But Louis, can I interject?
Absolutely.
She earned that spot. That was her spot.
No, absolutely. No, she didn't. She earned the spot for the 100, not the 4x. She was eligible to race in the 4x.
Whose time was better than hers?
Listen to me. She was eligible to race in the 4x.
In the 4, right.
In the 4x100. She was eligible, but that was at the discretion of the coach. Right. There was no guarantees. All I'm saying is that if you were the coach, Lady L, and you picked a team of 5 young ladies, 5 African-American young ladies, all right, and a Sha'Carri Richardson comes available after her suspension and after being caught being disqualified for popping positive on a drug test, which one of the 5 are you going to cut?
I'm going with the best. I'm looking at the times. I'm taking the best. This is the United States of America Olympics. We got to win.
We're going with the best, but I don't even know if Sha'Carri has ever been tried on the 4x100. I don't even know if that is something that she has done in the past. So I can't say who is the best in the 4x100. She's gold on the 100.
I can see that.
So, but if I'm the coach and I notify them, I'm not taking anyone off. We're gonna have to roll without.
So let's talk about this. Okay, we have a couple of people who served the highest executive office in this land, who have a track record of substance abuse, admittedly, and they both served as the president of the United States of America. I'm talking about George W. Bush, and I'm talking about Barack Hussein Obama. In his book, Barack Hussein Obama admitted to drugs and using drugs, and he became the president. They allowed him to serve as president. George W. Bush admitted or was arrested for various things, and he became president of the United States. So if we're able to overlook and allow these individuals to serve as the highest point of the highest position in the land, you can't let somebody run in the 100-meter relay or the 100 meters. It's not a matter of allowing and overlooking. All right, if Sha'Carri decides to run for president, I'll take a look. If Sha'Carri runs for president,
I'll take a look at a platform. I might vote for it. You apparently
But you're giving her the opportunity. You would be giving her the opportunity to become president. Give her the opportunity.
Give her the opportunity.
To go
Right.
That's a fight that you fight prior to getting caught. That's not a fight that you fight after you got caught. One of the things that was kind of telling after her race, when she set the U.S. women's world record, one of the things that was telling is she said, "I am an Olympian. I don't care what they say." All right, and that was telling because you got to understand, she had taken her test prior to that run. She knew that she was going to pop positive on that urinalysis. This wasn't a surprise to her.
That's the
so the
fact.
way she runs up
That
and
is
hugs
a
her
fact.
grandmother, it was endearing. I get it, you know, but we can't mix sympathy with facts, and we can't excuse failure from our children. That there's certain things that you can and cannot do, and those rules are finite. Those rules don't bend. You know, now had she accidentally, if she were around her boyfriend and her boyfriend was smoking weed, and she said, "Hey, you know, my boyfriend was doing this, and somehow I got I forget what it's called, you know, but I got contact high, you know, and that's why it's in my system." Okay, now we can look at that. I get it. But even she admitted that she smoked marijuana, and she has never once asked to race. Sha'Carri Richardson has never once came in and said, "Please let me race." She knows the rules.
She accepted her responsibility. That's right.
Huh?
She accepted her responsibility.
Absolutely.
But you're not taking into account what she had to endure to say, no matter what y'all say, I am an Olympian. Because she earned that spot, and they criticized her because of her hair, because of her nails, because of her dress, because of her. And she's a great speaker. I don't even know why they was talking bad about her speech. All of her speeches and all of her interviews, they were great. And she received all of this criticism, and she stood up and said, "No matter what you guys say, you cannot take this from me because I got the time. I am the fastest woman in the world. I earned this place. Give her some respect." 21-year-old, fastest woman in the world, and received zero respect. Zero.
Look, from a respect factor, I think that's what makes it so disappointing, right? We're talking about a young lady who, since probably her early teenage years, if not in elementary years, she has raced, and she has made it to the top of her craft. This is the Super Bowl, the finals for a track star. There's no track team that's professional track team competing with other track teams in America. She made it to the pinnacle of her craft, and to drop the ball for marijuana is a lesson for our youth that this is something that you don't do. You know, we're not spending any time whatsoever on Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas attended Harvard. She's getting her master's degree from Texas University.
Don't even get me started on her.
And she's a young Black woman. That is Black excellence. But instead of
did you know Gabby Thomas before she made a statement about Sha'Carri? Did you know Gabby Thomas? Were you aware? Did you know Gabby Thomas?
What did she say?
Open her big mouth.
What did she say?
She said that y'all need to, as Black people, you know, support her, watch her.
That's not what she said. That's not what she said. What Gabby Thomas said is that there are still Black Olympians that would like your support. Sha'Carri got butthurt by it and retweeted it back. And matter of fact, I've got it written down here. Matter of fact, there was a tweet by somebody that said Gabby has the second fastest 200 meters since FloJo in Great Holloway.
Did you know her before then?
I didn't know either one of them before.
Exactly.
But I do know.
Benefited.
But I do.
This young lady, who I'm not saying was right, but you cannot deny who she is.
But I do know that Gabby Thomas is a Harvard graduate. She's getting her master's. And she's matter of fact, she's the third fastest woman since FloJo in her heat. So what I'm saying, the point I'm trying to make is I didn't know either one of them. But now that I know both of them, there is more discussion on a young lady who made a mistake, who cost her the pinnacle of what she's practiced for her entire life. And then on the other hand, you've got a young lady who's done everything right, and there's really no discussion. To me, that's the real discussion. That's who we should be modeling our kids after. We shouldn't accommodate.
And you know what baffles me, and I go back to this double standard conversation and point that I'm making, is that you just had one of the worst, if not the worst president in the history of the United States serving. And this person, while in office or while campaigning for office, because I know some of the comments in the chat were, you know, the example I used earlier about drug abuse and drug use, were they using while they were campaigning or were they using while they were in office? You had somebody that just served at the highest seat in this country. You talk about patriotism and you talk about, you know, what it means to represent this country on the world stage, talking about grabbing women by the vagina. You talk about, you know, I'm not turning in my tax returns, and now we're starting to find out why, because of all of the illegal things that they've done that led so many individuals to a January 6th insurrection on the nation's capital. I'm talking about this person was still allowed to serve and was facing impeachment twice, and of course did not get impeached, although he should have been. But because of double standard and because of people protecting their interests, they decided that they were going to allow him to continue to serve. I'm just saying we need to look at the double standards here in this country and how we look at African Americans versus everyone else. I think it's a double standard. Or those that have money, those that have money that are African Americans.
That is, there is Black excellence. There are Black mistakes. We have to accept that. We as a Black community cannot attach ourselves to every failure. You know, if you've got a Black school, like the one I attended, Worthing High School, you know, if you've got 50 children, don't get me started. If you got 50 children who graduated one year, and there were 100 children in the school, you know, you've got a 50% graduation rate. There needs to be more focus on the 50 kids who passed, who walked the stage, not how we can accommodate the 50 kids who didn't. We have to somehow bring them up to speed, not lower our standard. Now, as far as the president, you know, I don't like Donald Trump as much as anyone didn't like him, all right? But there's a difference between the moral men. There's not one Olympian. I would highly doubt if there's one Olympian that you could pull aside an interview who would say that they want to win a gold medal so that they can represent the country. That sounds good for press, but the reality, they're doing it for endorsements. All right. What I'm upset is I understand the double standard you're talking about, but Sha'Carri sought to get endorsements, just like U.S. soldiers, generally speaking, don't enlist.
No, I disagree.
Patriotism, they enlist because they can't afford to go to college.
Next subject. She was an LSU student. You haven't talked about the collegiate level success that she had. It's like, you want to talk about Harvard? She did something no other student in college has ever done on a collegiate level for the NCAA. Check her records. That's all I got to say.
No,
she said it best. I am who I am. I am the fastest woman. She got the receipts, Louis.
I get it. I'm not taking
all of that you're talking about.
What you're trying to do?
Give her some receipts. Put the receipts to receipts.
You're trying to corner this argument into a situation where I'm downing Sha'Carri. I support Sha'Carri. I do.
Tell me something positive you know about Sha'Carri.
She's accomplished. She's the sixth fastest woman in the world. I get it. In that heat.
In the fastest in America.
I get it. You can't get any more accomplished than that. That's what makes this more dramatic. Is the fact that she was there.
And her character speaks for herself. Just because you don't like her attitude, it's almost like you punishing her.
Marijuana.
It's like you punishing her for her.
No, it's not. No, I'm not punishing her.
Well, people that taking ownership for a mistake that anybody could make.
Let me tell you something. Pot smoking is not a Black thing. You know, we need to take. You know,
but it is.
But no, it's not. When I make comments about wearing bonnets in public, we should not embrace things like that. All the battles, we're going to embrace it and say, this is us. This is who we are. No, we're
don't embrace what she did.
Let me ask this question. Hold on. Let me ask this question.
Embrace her as a Black woman.
Let me ask this question.
You got to be accomplished. The mere virtue of the fact that you're a Black woman, I'm not celebrating that. We're not going to celebrate mediocrity. I don't care if you're homosexual or not.
Black woman.
I'm not going to celebrate somebody gay because a man likes another man. I'm not celebrating anything that's mediocre.
You can't even say that she is the fastest woman in the world. You have yet.
What do you mean? I've already said it. What do you want me to say?
You said all of this, but you can't even applaud her for who she is, aside from what she's done. I'm sure
Look,
Gary
All right,
has
check this
stuff
out.
that
Check
he
this
talked
out.
about.
I'm not
That's
kissing
All right,
that
check
girl.
this out. Check this out. All right, so look, what about a couple of Olympics ago? We had a situation involving one of the most celebrated, if not the most celebrated swimmer in the history of the world. We're talking about Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps.
Who was caught on camera smoking out of a bong.
Yes.
And yet he was allowed.
But he passed the urinalysis. Wait a minute. Listen to me.
Oh, okay. So he
okay.
passed the urinalysis. He was able to game the system. He was able to game the system, so that makes it right.
He found a way. He found a way to be a corporate thug.
Hold on, wait a minute. So you're saying because he passed the urinalysis, but we see him on camera smoking on video, smoking out of a bomb.
Only tell the whole truth.
That makes it right.
That makes it okay.
Number one, Phelps was caught on camera after the Olympics. After the Olympics, after he passed the drug test, after he had raced, after he won the gold medal, after all that was done, he was caught at a party smoking it up. I get it. He never popped positive. He lost a shit ton of endorsements.
That makes it okay.
Excuse me?
Why did they go test him? Why did they go test him? Why didn't they pull his gold medals?
They did test him. No, don't start no lies now.
Why did they have the same standard?
You starting a story.
We need the same standard.
You starting something. They tested that man before he ran. As a matter of fact, if you finish first, second, or third, you automatically get tested.
Hold up.
They test everybody randomly for the first year or two.
A black athlete after. I'm going to find it.
Name this, Lorenda. Lady L, tell me this. How many white 100-meter sprinters were there? None. So you can't keep bringing up black. There was not one. No. So you can't say it's a black thing.
You're missing the point.
Demonizing a black woman. How?
You're missing the point.
When the last time a white woman ran the 101?
We're talking about the bias.
You can't, can you?
Male,
bias?
Female,
there's nothing
rich
to compare it to.
Black and white, the biasness. That's what we're talking about.
Where's the bias?
So listen. I want to shift gears for a second since we're talking about the Olympics and her name was mentioned earlier. We talked about it was mentioned about Simone Biles. We saw how she was vilified by her fellow Americans. One of the most celebrated gymnasts in the history of gymnastics, not just in the Olympics, just in world gymnastics. And she decided to step away. A young girl herself, she decided to step away to deal with her mental health. We saw Naomi Osaka, the golfer, who stepped away to deal with her mental health. All these individuals, and she did so also during the Olympics. You see how vilified these individuals who happen to be of African-American descent as well, how they were vilified and treated. And we come to find out, particularly with Simone, here just yesterday, she announced that her aunt passed 2 days before she began her competition. And she also indicated that she was dealing with this rare situation or something that most gymnasts deal with, sometimes called twisties. And yet she was vilified. She was called a failure, Lewis. She was called someone who quit.
Yes.
She was called someone that, didn't do what was in the best interest of America because she quit on her team. She quit on the United States. So I'll start with you this time, Lady L. What are your thoughts on how she was treated?
It was really, really, truly hurtful to see that. Being a young lady who came into the game, the top of her game, highly supported. I mean, A-rated and still be treated like less than human, subhuman. It makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense. For one, she, attempted the Olympics, and it was the very first race on the vault, I think, that she tried to do, and she attempted. So it's not like she just said, no, I'm not going to go. And for anybody to say, hey, a person that attempt and decide, I'm not at my best, I'm not focused, no matter what it's for stress, medical situation, but for a person to be able to say, I'm not at my best, medical reasons why I need to step out. I need to sit down and still be ostracized, still be talked about. I saw some horrific things, and she did have a lot of support, but I supported her 100% because if you followed her, she speaks up for herself. She speaks up for justice. And I knew that the Olympics was going to, try to say she was all kind of things. I heard that she was paid off to let the other young lady in. I've heard all kinds of things, that she's not a team supporter, and I knew that they were going to do that, but I thought the Olympics would come and say in support of her. I haven't seen one thing that the organization itself has come in support of her. I thought that I would see all kinds of, mental health helplines and all kinds of things. If somebody come out and say, hey, I need help, I'm not myself. None of that. She was treated just as bad as anybody else. So they let you know that it's across the board and it needs to be addressed. But Olympics have had a history of having, discrepancies in how they view Black people versus white people in some of the same situations over and over. Look at the skater who was athletic, just as Simone is very athletic. She chose not to do her mount that she does the bows, but had she done that, they was not going to even rate her according to the difficulty that she did it. So all of that plays a role in her mental ability to be able to show up. Some people say, hey, this the Olympics. You just wasn't ready. What do you mean? I came, I performed, I attempted, and then I come back and I win a bronze. That's an amazing young lady. My hat goes off to her.
Mm-hmm.
Lewis.
Look, I had to educate myself on what the twisties were. All right. So when I heard about it, I looked it up. It is a real medical condition. And I'm glad that you have separated these discussions, because Sha'Carri is not a Simone Biles. Let's make this clear. Those Jamaicans wore that girl's ass out. But now that we're talking about Simone Biles, that is the most decorated gymnast in history. All right. So you've got to give her her due. She has proven herself time and time again. All right. And we're talking about something that apparently the twisties is something that throws your equilibrium off. You don't know where you are at any given point in time. And I can only imagine that in gymnastics that poses a tremendous danger for the athlete involved. You can break your neck, be forever paralyzed. So I don't fault Simone for making the decision to fall back on this one, because she would have also been a detriment to her team. Now, that being said, does that mean that I'm going to hero-fy Simone? Absolutely not. She's no more a hero before than she is now. All right.
Wow.
But I do respect her decision, and it was the right call in my take. And as far as the Olympics supporting her coach issued a public message.
Yeah, her coach.
She supported her, and her
Not
coach.
the Olympics.
Her coach works for the Olympic Committee. She's an Olympic coach, so I mean, I can only say that that's admirable, and I think that was a good call on her part. So go Simone Biles.
Well, we know that there is a history of racial bias as it relates to African American athletes surrounding the Olympics. We know that, particularly going into this Olympics, we saw that the IOC, International Olympic Committee, decided to ban particular athletes from using certain swimming caps because of their hair. Because it predominantly impacted African American or people of African descent, should I say, that had specific natural hair, and there was a natural hair company, and they provided these particular swim caps to these athletes, and they were told that they could not use them because it gave them an unfair advantage. So I do know that there is a history of that, and Black people always get treated in some instances, in many instances, unfairly. And, sometimes when they have the rules, in place and we start winning based off of those rules, they change the rules. I remember going back to, Will Chamberlain, where, they changed the rules on him because he would just stand under the basket and wait for the ball and just dunk it because nobody could stop it. And then that's when they instituted the 3-second rule.
Yep.
You know, so there are a lot of things that have been put into place because African Americans, just like it was mentioned earlier, Simone Biles doing things that had never been done before, but yet not being given the proper credit, the proper scoring because of her success and her being able to do something that nobody else is able to do. I want to switch gears also on another matter. Let's move from the Olympics and talk about something right here in our own backyard that got a lot of traction. The turkey leg hut and the dress code.
All right.
The turkey leg hut, which is a huge staple in our community here in the greater Houston area, visited by celebrities, entertainers, and just people all over. Lines, go a mile long, waiting to get this turkey leg or the other fixings surrounding it. They implemented a dress code here recently that got a lot of national attention.
Let Lady L go first.
Oh, you want Lady L to go first?
No, you going first. You going first on this one.
Oh my God. Okay.
We want to go to in all fair. The lady says she would defer to you.
Yes.
So what are your thoughts on them implementing a dress code and the type of things that they said that they would not allow to come into the turkey leg hut?
You know, I support Black business. I really do.
Here we go with the precursor.
Let me say that I think that they were irresponsible during COVID. All right, it was a money grab, and in one part I want to blame them but in another part I do want to criticize them because they put the Black community that has supported them all this time in a precarious situation during the COVID-19 crisis. All right, that's my take on it. Now, we're talking about a place that plays regularly, that loudly plays trap music and has hookahs. You cannot create a club atmosphere and expect someone not to shake their ass. That's just a part of it. You can't. It's like lipstick on a pig. If you think someone is going to dress up to stand in a line in Houston heat, to eat out of a food truck, we're not talking about,
it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant.
We're talking, and I use that term loosely as far as whether or not it's a restaurant. It's a restaurant / kind of bar-ish, kind of food truckish environment. But if you think I'm gonna wear my Sunday best and come out smelling like turkey leg smoke, I'm tired of seeing ducks walk around with bonnets and house shoes and pajamas that has set Black folks back 300 years. If you have pride in yourself, then you leave the house with some decor, some posture. But what you don't do is you don't leave the house with half your ass showing. I saw a dude in the store yesterday, young cat, with his entire ass showing. There's a difference between sagging and having your entire ass showing. No one's going for that. No one's going for that. And so do I blame them?
Oh, God.
The dress code, I see what they're trying to do. I think it's going to fail. I really do. I hope it doesn't, but I think it's going to fail.
Well, passing by today, it doesn't seem as if it did. Right. People are still frequenting the turkey leg. Lady L, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Working again.
Yep.
All right.
Lady L, your thoughts?
Oh, man, that was one of the most embarrassing things I've ever encountered in my city. And the turkey leg hut is one of the places that, personally, it's not one of my favorites, but a lot of people like it. And for you to have cultural bias against your own people, that is a pure definition of cultural bias.
Stop, Lady L, stop.
One group of people, and she put, whoever put it out there, put a name to it and specified what these things are. And I go by the turkey leg hut every week because I like to go through that area. I have never seen anybody dressed like that. What happened to the days that you say, hey, dress code fully enforced? What happened to the days that you have some respect for the clientele that you created? You created this atmosphere. You created this culture. You created, the hip hop, and you want people to then change based upon, whatever political stance that you're now taking.
They're trying to grow. They're trying to get a different clientele.
That's cultural bias. That's discrimination.
Well,
That's
is it
not-
wrong?
hold
Is
on,
it
hold
wrong
on.
to realize? Hold on. Is it
Boney, hold
wrong
on.
to realize that you created a monster? That
That is
you were
not cultural
Frankenstein? Hold
bias.
on, wait a minute. Is it wrong for you to say, you know what? Let me stop, drop, and roll. We're on fire. We created this monster, you know, and we want to now put something together and create an atmosphere that is not what we created. We want to go. We want to stop what we've done and move in a different direction. What's wrong with that?
It's like a crack dealer opening up a beeper shop. You try to legitimize what you
It's
got.
a way.
Listen to me. Number
It's
one,
the way you do
it
it.
is not culture. It's not culture.
It
And I'm
is.
tired. I am sick and tired of black people taking everything and owning it as a part of culture. The culture that I know black people have is a culture of excellence. It's a culture of standards. We have standards. We are far above showing our ass. Some
Nobody
kid showing
showed
his
their ass
some
at the
kid
turkey
going,
leg.
some girl going in there with a panty showing. That's not our culture. And
Have
I
you
wish
ever
people would
seen
stop saying
anybody
that.
at the turkey leg cut dressed like that? Have you
Have
ever?
I?
Have you
No,
ever?
I'm not paying $30 for the cheapest meat.
And that's what I was gonna say.
I'm not doing it.
That's what
I'm
I was
not
gonna
doing
say
it.
to what you said.
Let's go.
Lady L,
Jeff.
yes, it does exist, or it has existed, and it is a thing. It was a thing. I don't think that they would have implemented or instituted it if it wasn't a thing. And trust me, it was a thing.
Absolutely.
Well, there's
And
a
it's
way to
not
do
culture.
everything. All you had to do was says dress code is in full effect and put, you know, do not come in without being properly dressed or something like that.
Hey,
But what if they don't know? What if they don't know what that means?
Guess what? Their white patrons dress the exact same way. There are some.
What if they don't know what it means, though? But Lady L, what if they don't know what it means? What if they don't know what? Maybe they consider that to be adequately dressed. They think that wearing thongs showing or you know, the things, you know, the breast showing and all that, that they feel like that is adequately dressed. That's where they come from. That's how they
That's
what they think.
but I will tell you this: I've been there before, and all I smelled was weed. I'll be honest with you.
Oh, come on now, Lewis.
And he,
No, it's the truth.
Turkey leg.
That wasn't turkey.
Now, how can you smell weed? How can you smell weed over the turkey leg smoke? You said you didn't want to come out smelling like turkey leg smoke. Now you say you smell weed. See, you can't have it both ways, man.
No,
my job does random,
okay?
okay? And I can't be around weed smoke, and I damn sure will not wear slacks and a jacket to stand in line in August to buy a $2 turkey leg for $30. I'm not doing it.
Well, I mean, when you can't. Well, first of all, man, I think that's wrong, Lewis, because you know they can charge whatever they want. You're the consumer, so you can choose to pay for it. So that's your choice, of course, as a consumer, that you don't want to spend $30 or $20 for a turkey leg. But you know, we go to the rodeo and spend you know, whatever it is for you know, those seasonal items.
You have to dress a certain way to
corn dogs and turkey legs and funnel cake.
Dining is an experience, right? You know, you pay for the ambiance and the service and the food. You know, it's a package deal. I think that people have paid $30. I've seen guys pay $100, $200 to valet park at a club for the ambiance, for the look of it all, right? I get that. But when you take away that club appeal, then I think that in the end, if they stand by what they said, which I doubt they will, all right, I think that the rules are going to relax eventually and people are going to go in there butt ass naked anyway, all right? But if they stick with what they're saying, then I do believe that at some point, if you lose that club appeal, the trap music, no one's going to listen to Lil Baby and smoke hookahs if they can't dress appropriate to listen to Lil Baby.
That's all I'm saying. It's appropriate for the atmosphere.
So are you saying that people that dress that way are the only ones that listen to trap music? Because I'm here to tell you that's not the case.
No.
Those are the ones that cut. But
so you don't listen to trap music, Lewis?
No, I can tell you for certain.
I love trap music.
Hold on, stop, Boney.
I love Lil Baby.
Name 3 trap artists.
Lil Baby. That's the only one I know. I'm not gonna lie.
You got Young Jeezy. What about Jeezy?
I don't even know Young Jeezy. I'm sorry.
Come on, now everybody knows Jesus.
I
Yeah.
like Lil Baby
Come
because he's
on
a
now,
country
come on.
rapper.
I mean, Lady L, you got to get your trap
I
game up, your
know.
trap music game up. But
I'm
look,
gonna do
all right,
better.
I
We
want
getting
to shift.
old,
We're running.
we getting old.
We're running out of time. This is a great conversation. I definitely gonna have you guys back on. But let's jump over here to COVID real quick. COVID-19.
Oh,
We see that the Delta variant is allowing this virus to become more contagious and spread a lot faster. Yet, we have individuals who are at the top of the, top of our federal government in some cases, and some, we have instances where we have a state government and our governor who has opened up the state. I remember seeing the governor of Florida, DeSantis, talk about how people charge them with, because if they opened up in 8 weeks that they would be at high levels, and he mocked them. And now all of a sudden they're one of the highest states with this Delta variant contagion, impacting people that are hospitalized. What are y'all thoughts on this new variant and how we're responding to it, particularly in our community? We'll start with you, Lady L.
I have been getting a lot of phone calls. As you know, I'm a pharmacist and we do vaccinations, community events, and one of our sponsors. And I've been getting a lot of phone calls this past week because people want to do the vaccinations again. And I'm just a little hesitant because I'm waiting. We are all, as scientists, as community leaders, and we're waiting on more data to come in to get a better understanding. We know it's very contagious, and we know that it's really affecting our communities, but it's affecting both vaccinated and non-vaccinated Americans in a very rapid way. And we have finally had to admit, as a country, for what I see, that some people have dropped the ball, in some areas, especially federally. You really can't say yet because we have yet to have any organization on a local level for states to say, this is what we need for our community. This is what we need for our state. This is what we need, for our people. But they have found a way to get some type of data that say that this virus is because of unvaccinated people, number one, and two, it's because of the lower class Americans. If you haven't noticed, they have already said that this virus, the Delta virus, is very prevalent in Black and brown communities. They've already, how did you get that data? I'm waiting on data, but you have data, and I'm on the CDC all day. I'm waiting on data myself simply because there's a new vaccine that's promising called Novavax, and I've been waiting on that data from the other countries to which is what we're using in America because it hasn't made it here yet. In order for us to see what's next, is Novavax going to be the next great thing that we need in order to get this Delta virus under control, or we're going to continue with the mRNAs. But all of the data is in as to where it's happening, and it's happening in our community. So it's very alarming, but I don't know if the best step, I'm just going to be honest, I've never been a person who not know. So I don't know if the best step is to do another drive and get everybody vaccinated with the 3 current vaccinations when we have one that's promising that we just, by the end of this particular quarter, it's supposed to be out, and we're just waiting to read the data. And hopefully, but do we have time for that? So I think the federal government needs to step in and make some standards across because, as you know, our governor has lost his mind. And people are making their own decisions, and it's just not good. And we have to have some federal standards so that then we can hold our own, elected officials in our own state and our own community accountable. But how are you going to do that if we don't have any standards?
Well, I agree with you. And I just got a note this morning from one of my close colleagues who indicated that their daughter, who is 10 years old, just got diagnosed with COVID-19. And now we got these students that are about to go back to school. And I know even at HISD, the new superintendent indicated they rolled out their back to school plan, and it indicated that they weren't even going to authorize masks be worn by teachers, administrators, or students, and that they're not going to encourage vaccination. And so you couple that return to school and those young kids who are, maybe asymptomatic or may not, spreading that, taking that back home to their parents, grandparents is going to be a challenge. Lewis, what's your thoughts on it?
Yes.
I think that this has become so politicized to the point where it has fractured it has fractured our ability to think. You know, I understand both sides of it. I personally got vaccinated. I got back, not that I wanted to get vaccinated. I got vaccinated because I felt it was my responsibility to get vaccinated. I've had too many friends, you in point, that have been affected by COVID. I've lost several friends due to complications from COVID. But I work in an area. I work in Baytown. All right, Baytown. You start talking at Crosby, Baytown, Anahuac, Dayton area. They have been so politicized to a point where they make excuses for why they won't. I mean, one of the biggest reasons I've heard from my colleagues in the area that I work, which is probably one of the most ignorant things I've heard in the world, is I'm not doing it because the government is making me do it.
Wow.
That's their only justification. The government is making me do it. And for that reason, I won't get it done. And one of those guys have died. He died a couple of weeks ago, you know. So I think that this is going to be a come to Jesus moment for a lot of us. I don't see this thing going away. I think that it's going to continue to fracture society. We've got nurses. Let's make this clear. We've got nurses that won't get vaccinated. You know, I think that what's going to happen is we're going to have corporate America, companies that say, hey, you don't get vaccinated, you have no job. You know, they're going to have to put it on the table and say that. And because if at that point, most people will get vaccinated.
No, I think most people will be vaccinated when they get better options.
But when we have the options that we have, you know, we can spitball a better option all day long. Well, can you get one that does this? Can you get one that does that?
But the data is out. That's what I'm saying. The same amount of people that's vaccinated and the same amount of people that's unvaccinated is getting it and spreading it.
I get what you're saying, but the people that are surviving it, because I looked at the data this morning. The people that are vaccinated, by and large, are surviving it compared. I'm not saying entirely,
but they're spreading it.
Listen to me. You know what? If I catch COVID, I want to live. You know, and if it requires that I get vaccinated to catch it and live, as opposed to not getting vaccinated, catching it and dying, then I'm going to have to roll the dice on that. I'm going to have to take my chances on it.
But I got hope in our sciences. I got hope I got hope that we're going to have a better solution really soon. That's just.
So let me ask you flat out, Lady L. Now let's not. So, have you been vaccinated?
No, not with the mRNA. I'm not a good candidate for that particular vaccination. Okay. That's why I have hope that we're going to have better solutions.
I get it, and I do too.
Yes.
I get it. You know.
All right, so check this out. We're about to wrap it up here. I just want to get y'all's quick thoughts on what's going on. The Texas legislators have left Texas and are still in DC because of their stance of breaking quorum to try to avoid having this particular legislation surrounding the various voter legislation passing and getting signed by the governor. Your quick thoughts on that. Start with you, Lewis.
I think that what the Texas Republicans have done is they've disturbed the beehive, you know, and I think it was the worst move that Abbott could have made was to have them arrested. All right, because to have them arrested adds fuel to a fire that has been burning already, you know, and we learned this with Beto. You know, you are disturbing major metropolitan areas. You know, yeah, I think that the Republicans are banking on rural Texans to carry the load, and they can't hold the Democrats in big cities. There's no match. You know, you're talking what, 5 million people in Houston, you know, 4 million in Dallas, you know, San Antonio. You can get any one of these little redneck, fucked up towns if you want, and there's no way that they can match the voter bases in these cities. And if you wake them up, all right, they're going to have problems, and I think that's what's about to happen.
Lady L.
I think that key legislature may have already been in place, like Equal Rights Act, things like that. I think we need to revisit those things. I applaud their efforts, but it feel like we're going in circles. And I just think we shouldn't have to go through this every few years. They should not have the ability. I'm going back to the Constitution, to the federal government, and those things that's on the docket already need to be revisited. There are some people have already presented, legislature for this. We need to come together in unity and get it done once and for all. And the Equal Rights Act is one of those ways. But in the meantime, this is the only way. This is the best way, as he said, to wake them up. We have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for being on. This time moves pretty fast. I know you guys are busy. I always appreciate seeing you guys dialoguing and exchanging with you on social media. Hope to have you guys back on. It was a great conversation. Thanks for being with us. Lewis Hunter and LaRonda Helen Thomas, Lady L, thank y'all for being on Real Talk Junkies today.
Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, peace. All right, guys, we're about to get up out of here. But like I said, make sure you always check out the Forward Times website, www.forwardtimes.com. You can always engage with me, jeffreylboney.com. But listen, I just want to close with this because we were talking about something that I think is near and dear definitely to my heart, and that's our Black youth. Our young people are our future. They're our present and our future. We have to impart things in them because I think a lot of the things that they do or they're doing that may not be the right things, that they make these mistakes. A lot of them is because of what we've shown them or not shown them, and how engaged or disengaged we've been in their lives. And they've had to figure stuff out on their own. So without being given much direction, many of our Black youth have had to fend for themselves. They've decided to take matters in their own hands. They've strategized, they've organized, they've mobilized, whether on social media or in the streets, in order to bring about change. Our Black youth, they got to be encouraged to express themselves in ways that are helpful to their future, but not harmful to the lives of other people. This generation of Black youth, they need to be mentored because many of them feel like they've been abandoned. This generation of Black youth, they need to be encouraged because many of them have come to the realization that they are living in a country that does not seem to value their Black lives or their Black opinions or their Black future. Many of them are beginning to do their own research to do better things and to understand better what they need to do as Black people. And they also are understanding that Black people have experienced, racism and all of the harshness of what has taken place against them since the founding of this country. Many of the members of the previous generations of Black adults have failed to protect many of our Black youth. I can tell that Sha'Carri Richardson has a solid foundation because in the midst of her mistake being made, she definitely had a strong relationship with her family, particularly her grandmother, to help her get through and weather this storm. This new generation of Black youth, they're smart enough to know what's truly happening around them. Many of them have made the important decision to stand up for themselves when other people won't. Our Black youth are fighting for their lives every day and seeking relevance the only way that they know how, through using the tools and the resources that they have at their disposal. That's why Black Lives Matter movement was birthed. That's why it was formed. And that's why it's continuing to gain traction. Black Lives Matter was birthed by a remnant of Black young people who were sick and tired of being sick and tired. They wanted to do something about dealing with the issue of police brutality and other issues that harm Black people. The hip hop community, it was formed because many Black youth needed an outlet to express themselves because what they were dealing with, what they were experiencing and going through in their neighborhoods in this country. It's become a tool now that continues to influence and make a difference. Gangs, they were formed because many Black young people wanted to know what a family actually felt like, what it looked like. So they joined these gangs to form this bond, to belong to a family that they felt truly understood them and was there for them. Anything that Black young people have created or gravitated towards has occurred because those same young Black people were seeking a way to establish their own identity. Our young people need direction. And without direction, they don't know who they are. And they'll do anything they got to do to feel protected, to have stability and receive the security that they need to survive in this harsh and cruel world. It's important that parents and responsible adults not harshly judge our Black youth by constantly berating them and telling them what they're doing wrong, especially without properly mentoring them and showing them how to do the things right in the right way. The role of our parents and responsible Black adults in the lives of Black youth is extremely critical right now. And all of us as Americans as Texans. We got to use this time in history as an opportunity to start supporting Black youth and helping them deal with the social ills and issues of the day. If we as parents and responsible Black adults don't return to our rightful place and take on the mantle of leadership in this country, America will have a generation of young Black people who are driven by anger, emotional instability, and immaturity, but who are continuously seeking answers and looking for leadership. I'm asking you, will you fill in the gap and be an example for our Black young people? I truly hope so, because they need us. All right, y'all, that'll do it for this week. Real Talk Junkies Live, always a pleasure to be before you. Make sure you tune in next week. Gonna have another hot show. Don't argue with me. The book is coming soon. Peace. I'll see you next week.